Today I'm not going to tell you anything about anything. It's just random. It's random. Water is important. Okay. Let me talk about something random but real. Something that touches all of us whether we notice it or not. And that is the strange way time feels in our life. When we are children, 1 year feels like forever. Summer holidays feel endless, and waiting for the birthdays feel like waiting for eternity. But as we grow older, something shifts. Weeks start moving faster. Months disappear quietly. Suddenly, it is December again, and you are wondering where January went. Time doesn't actually speed up. Of course, the clock ticks at the same rate it always has, but our perception changes, and the changes shapes our entire experience of life. When we were young, when you were one, when we were one, when we were young, when we are young, everything is new. New school, new friends, new experience, new emotions. The brain records this moment with The brain records this moment with intensity because novelty demands attention. Attention stresses time. The more aware you are, the longer a moment feels. But as we grow older, routine takes over. We wake up at the same time, take the same route, talk to the same people, solve similar problems, and the brain stops recording every detail because it doesn't need to do. It says I have seen this before, and when fewer new memories are formed, time feels compressed. That is why childhood feels long and adulthood feels fast. It is not about the calendar, it's about the awareness. Now think about how much our life is lived on autopilot. You wake up, check your phone, scroll without thinking, respond to messages half consciously, it while eating something, move from one task to another without fully being present. Days blend together, and then one day you realize months have passed and nothing feels memorable. It's not that nothing happened. It's not that you were not fully there for it. Attention is the currency of experience. When your attention goes, your life goes. If your attention is scattered, your memory of life becomes scattered too. Consider how often we rush. Consider how often we rush. We rush to finish school so we can start working. We rush through the work week so we can reach the weekend. We rush through the year waiting for the vacation. We rush through the youth wanting independence, and sometimes we rush so much that we forget to experience the stage we are currently in. It is strange how humans are always preparing for the next phase while barely standing in the present one. We say we want to live fully, yet we postpone living to a later date that never truly arrives. There is also something fascinating about how comparison steals time from us. When we constantly compress our progress, your income, your achievements, and your lifetime to someone else, you create mental noise. The noise consumes attention. Instead of engaging deeply with your own journey, you measure it against another person's highlighted reel. The more you compare, the less satisfied you feel. Satisfaction stresses time because you are engaged and grounded. Comparisons shrinks time because you are distracted and restless. Technology plays a huge role in this experience. We hold in our hand devices that can access almost all human knowledge, yet we often use them to escape boredom rather than confront it. Boredom used to be a powerful space for creativity. When there was nothing to do, the mind wanders, ideas form, imagination expanded. Now, the moment boredom appears, we eliminate it with a swipe. We fill every silent gap with the simulation, and when life is constantly simulated, nothing feels special. As everything is loud, nothing stands out. Another interesting thing is how discomfort shapes memory. Think about a challenging period in your life. Maybe it was exam season, a difficult project, a personal struggle. During that time, they may days may have felt long. Every hours mattered, you were alert, you were emotionally invested. Struggles has way of slowing down perception because you are fully engaged. Yet once it passes, it becomes a meaningful chapter. It becomes a story. The prince remembers it vividly because it requires growth. Comfort, on the other hand, can be deceptive. When everything is easy and predictable, time slips quietly. Comfort is pleasant but not always memorable. Growth often hides inside difficulty. That doesn't mean we should seek suffering, but it does mean that challenges adds depth to our experience, and depths make life feel fuller. Let us also talk about the goals. We are taught to set goals, chase them, achieve them, and then set new ones. The cycle can be powerful, but it can also become endless. If you always tie happiness to the next milestone, you never allow yourself to feel complete. You tell yourself that satisfaction will come after promotion, after graduation, after success, after recognition. But when you reach one milestone, the mind immediately recreates another. The horizon keeps moving. So you must learn to balance ambition with presence. It is possible to strive for more while appreciating that already exists. There is something powerful about slowing down intentionally, eating without distraction, walking without headphones, listening to something without thinking about what you will say next. These small acts expand time. They anchor you. They make a small moment feel significant. And when enough significance moment accumulate, life feels rich rather than rushed. Another aspect worth considering is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of missing out, fear consumes mental energy. When you are afraid of what other things, you edit yourself constantly, you hold back ideas, you overanalyze decisions. That constant self-monitoring drains attention, and again, attention determines the quality of your experience. Confidence, even quiet confidence, frees attention. It allows you to engage with the world directly rather than thought, a filter, or doubt. Relationships also shapes our perceptions of time. Meaningful conversation can make hours feel like minutes, yet those messages remain unforgettable. Superficial interaction, even if frequent, rarely leaves lasting impression. Depth matters more than frequency. A small genuine connection can overweigh dozens of shallow exchanges. Humans are wired for a connection, but true connection requires presence, vulnerability, vulnerability, and listening. Let me shift slightly and talk about identity. Many people spend years trying to figure out who they are, but identity is not a fixed object you discover once and keep forever. It evolves, it adapts, it responds to your experience. When you allow yourself to explore new interests, learn new skills, and meet different kinds of people, you expand your sense of self. Expansion makes life feels dynamic. Rigidity makes it feels repetitive. Think about learning something new. The first day feels confusing, the second day feels slightly clearer. Over time, what was once difficult becomes natural. The process of transformation is deeply satisfying. It reminds you that growth is possible, and growth scratches time because it feels it was meaning. Sometimes we overestimate how small habits compound. Reading 10 pages a day may not seem dramatic, but over a year it feels thousands of pages. Exercising briefly each day may feel minor, but over months it reshapes your health. Small actions repeated constantly shapes identity more than rare bursts of intensity. Consistency creates quiet power. And then there is gratitude. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring problems, it means recognizing what is functioning well despite them. When you consciously notice small things like your ability to breathe freely, to move, to think, to communicate, your perspective changes. Gratitude anchors in reality. It reduces the constant chase for something more. And when you are grounded, time feels like an enemy and more like a companion. Ultimately, life is not just a sequence of achievements, it is a sequence of moments. The quality of those moments depends on attention, awareness, and intention. You cannot slow the clock, but you can expand your experience. You can choose depth over distraction, presence over autopilot, growth over stagnation. If there's one simple idea to carry from all this, is that awareness changes everything. When you become aware of how you spend your time, how you use your attention, how you respond to challenges, you regain control. And control doesn't mean rigid planning, it means conscious living. Time will continue moving whether you rush or pause. The question is not how fast it moves, but how deeply you experience it. And the depth is something you shape every single day. Often in small, quiet choices that seem insignificant but slowly define the story of your life. That's what today, guys. I hope I have done pretty good. Well, that's for today, guys. I'll meet you in the next one. Till then, bye.